We're live.
Live.
And on spot.
It's another lunch with Jim and A.Ron.
Another one in the books. We've got the Q&A app open from the jump. We're going to talk about some stuff that we find of interest. And you can join or ask questions or suggest topics as you will using the little link. There should be like a little gold link at the bottom if you're logged into YouTube and all that correctly, where you can submit questions and get answers.
Gold. Very fancy.
So I am happy that I'm done with Orange is the New Black season 3. That's been a lot of work.
Yeah. You're scheduled
2 a week and getting schedules and doing it nights and weekends and
mornings. My God.
Mornings.
A
lot of early mornings. Because the West Coast people, like I've done 3 podcasts with people at 6 in the morning their time. And I'm amazed that I got anything of quality out of them. But yeah, I'm done with the wrap-up cast. That is off my plate. It's time to make room for Fear the Walking Dead and Walking Dead and Fargo and Leftovers. Which have you haven't seen the new Leftovers trailer?
Not the new. I've seen the teaser, not the trailer.
Pretty hot.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of rumors that they were getting away from the Garveys this season, or they're going to take a back seat, which maybe that's still true. But the trailer I saw, lots of Garveys, lots of the pastor Matt and his sister Carrie Coon.
Good.
I've forgotten all these people's names. Some appearance of Patty. So we still got Crazy Kevin.
Okay.
Crazy Kevin's dad still in effect. Garvey Sr.
Okay. Are the National Geographics present? Do we have any?
I don't know.
Any crazy articles about spiders? And
I was discussing this on the forums, and I feel like that Lindelof so far, I feel like, has kept keeping his promise that I don't really care about the central mystery of the story. It's all about I've accepted it and watching these people deal with the consequences of whether that happens or not. I hope they never answer it.
Yeah.
I hope they never have a satisfying explanation.
Yeah, I like the stuff that he said about it. You know, as much as we were like, oh God, it's going to be lost all over again. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he learned a lot from Lost.
Well, also, I feel like that Tom Perrotta guy, whoever the author, I feel like he's a really good tool to rein him in too.
Yeah.
Like if you got somebody that wants to keep it grounded in the human story and one guy that wants to go off and crazy can, theory territory, that's two great tastes that can taste great together as long as you're moderating each other. And no, I'm excited about that. One thing I want to talk about, and maybe we can, if we watch a couple more, last night we played some Rocket League.
Yeah.
And we want to talk about that, but afterwards we watched what is the hell is the name of that thing? I have no idea what
the name of that is.
God damn it.
It's John Hamm, Daniel Radcliffe, and they are, well, one of them is a doctor, and John Hamm is his older version of himself. It's basically
a young doctor's notebook.
Okay.
So
it's Quantum Leap, except with John Hamm and Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe is, I think he's Russian. Maybe he's English educated and he's serving in Russia for some reason in early 20th century, like World War I era.
Yeah, I thought it said it was during Revolutionary War.
Oh, well, that is World War I.
For Russia, yeah.
Bolshevik Revolution happened concurrently, right?
Yeah, so I get the impression, that Daniel Radcliffe as a doctor has been not trained very well.
Well,
kind of hastily trained and sent out in the field because they need doctors.
Well, plus, like, if you haven't seen the Nick either, but like the doctors of this time period are just transitioning from like the butchers they were a generation ago to the professional practitioners of medicine that actually can do like crazy life-saving things. So like,
I mean, I know part of this show is going to be him like coming into himself, I guess. Yeah. But I get the impression up front that he is not only just a rudimentary doctor, but he doesn't even have much skill in the stuff that he should.
I guess, but that's funny because
they're constantly making a joke about him being young.
But he also graduated top of his class. But then when you see flashbacks of his training, he like can't see because he's short and he can't see. Which I also say, like, so he graduated from medical school. Presumably, he's in his mid-20s.
Probably, yeah.
John Hamm towers over Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, how's he going to grow into the size that John Hamm is? I don't see it.
Size matters not. I guess you go with the Yoda thing.
It does when you have two characters who are supposed to be the same character.
I don't know.
Sorry, Yoda. There are occasions.
Maybe he has a late growth spurt. But no, I thought it was really entertaining. Funnier than I expected it to be. And also plenty dramatic possibilities. It does seem like the way they're playing the young Doctor version of himself with Daniel Radcliffe is he's so scatterbrained and so inept that it's hard to see how he gets to be the mature John Hamm character that he gets to later.
So he's supposed to be 20 years older, right?
Probably.
John Hamm?
That, yeah.
So it seems like, I don't know, 20 years you can develop a lot of traits, a lot of experience, a lot of skills that you didn't have before.
What do you think of John Hamm's accent?
I thought it was horrible in the opening intro, like that voiceover. But once he got into where he was on screen, I thought it was fine and actually kind of good. Was
it that bad, or was it just the fact that the cognitive dissonance to see John Hamm speaking with a British accent? Was that the...
At first, I expected it to be a Russian accent, and I was looking for the Russian.
I kind of felt like he was splitting the difference, maybe.
Yeah, and so I felt like that was a bad Russian accent. But as it became clear that he's supposed to be British, his British accent was pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, one of many, but...
yeah, so I definitely want, there's 2 seasons of that out right now. I kind of want to explore that a little bit more. And then the other thing I watched last night after you left, me and Cecily watched the premiere, or the pilot episode of Top of the Lake. That's the British murder mystery.
The other Mad Men star.
With Peggy Olson, Elizabeth Moss stars as a detective, and that seems to specialize in like case of sexual abuse of minors. I don't fully understand everything that's going on, but I don't think I'm supposed to. And imagine it's kind of like a more mundane True Detective. Like the series opens, there's this young lady, she's 12 years old, and she's 4, 5, 6 months pregnant.
Okay.
And
Jesus.
Nobody knows who the father is. She's not going to identify them, but there's plenty of people to suspect. And there is a relative of the family that has some kind of association with her, who seems to be knowing that there's some shady stuff and trying to help them cover it up. But it's really good. It's like, do you remember that Linder character from The Bridge? Who always talked like he got his jaw wired together.
Vaguely, yeah.
He plays an almost unrecognizable role in this, as this, it seems like maybe the love interest or the simpatico person that Elizabeth Moss is coming into this community where she's trying to investigate this thing, and no one's trusting her.
He doesn't talk like that, right?
No, he doesn't. He talks with like a normal received British pronunciation. It sounds like there's no shit, and he's well shaven and he's good. He's actually good looking. And Cecily said, like, that's Linder from The Bridge. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. We had to go to IMDb to settle that fight. But it's giving me a lot of that, True Detective, not murder mystery. I guess this is although people, someone got murdered too. It's giving me some of that kind of
season 1
a sprawl, but it's more believable. It's like, it's not Cthulhu monsters and Carcosa or rich society. This just feels like, small backwater town, weird family cover-up shit. It feels more real and grounded. But really good performances. It looks amazing. I definitely am excited. More excited about that than the Young Doctor's Notebook, honestly. Although that seems like it's more accessible and entertaining right from the jump. But so that's the television stuff. I've also got back into Deadwood.
Somebody else is asking a question here that's relevant.
No. So Anthony B's want to know if I've seen the infamous John Hamm Black Mirror episode. I've not. Have you?
I've seen the first 2 seasons of it, but I haven't seen the one that he's talking about, which I think is in season 3, or it's a special. It's a Christmas special.
Yeah, it says it's the Christmas episode, which that's what the British people do. That, like, Downton Abbey's got the Christmas special.
Christmas specials, man. We got over that right after Star Wars. We were like, nope, fuck that. Yeah. The Christmas special is done. You killed it.
We lived through the national nightmare that was a Star Wars Christmas special, and we never went back.
Yeah, and now
it's the cultural difference.
They're keeping the tradition alive. I guess they haven't had their Star Wars Christmas special moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be interested to see what the worst of the Christmas specials in Britain are.
There's got to be some really bad Doctor Who Christmas specials from the 70s.
God, yeah, with too many scarves and
yeah,
not enough plot.
Thick banks of marijuana fog rolling through the studio. Someone's in
if
way
anybody
into the eggnog.
Like the worst of the Christmas specials in Britain, please let me know because I want to check those out.
Sure, I wouldn't mind seeing that as well. But yeah, I kind of think, I don't know. I wonder why.
I guess do it on the forums. Yeah, we'll create a thread for this.
I wonder why the Britain, the UK, is still doing Christmas specials.
I really think it's just that maybe they haven't had the ultimate flop. That is, they haven't seen the error of their ways.
But we've got like a lot of cultural, like we got this thing of like the war on Christmas versus everybody, trying to be sensitive to everybody's religion and culture and all that, which is fine. But I don't have a dog in that fight. I love Christmas. I love it as a secular holiday, and it makes me feel good. And I don't subscribe to any of the tenets of Christianity beyond the ones that say, don't be dicks to people. So I don't know. Maybe they just didn't go through that, or they sat it out. I know that, UK's got its own melting pot situation. Yeah. Like not sure why they can get away with having Christmas episodes and we can't.
I wonder. So it seems like Christmas is a good time. It's like, how TV kind of just takes a break during the,
at least in America,
holiday period.
Sure. Yeah.
I feel like Christmas Day or like Christmas Eve is like the time when people are really just kind of sitting around, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
as a family,
you've got everybody together. Nobody's working.
You're sick of talking to each other.
You've done that for the last 2 days. Now we can watch something.
Also, I don't know, does the Christmas, because that's the thing, like when I watch Downton Abbey, I watch it in the late spring, all in a row, edited for PBS. So do they actually shut down and then they come back and air Downton Abbey Christmas special in the week of Christmas? Or is it like the first week of December, or is it in January? Like, when the fuck does that thing actually premiere?
Or it's like Scrooged, where they're doing it live on Christmas Eve or something.
Yeah, like, the Americans we like to watch, A Miracle on Whatever Street. We like to watch, what's that one with the angel and getting his wings? I saw that for the first time last year.
It's not the Jimmy Stewart one.
Yeah, that's the one. It's A Wonderful Life.
Yeah, I was gonna say Perfect Life, but
which I've never seen that movie till last year, and I was surprised at how good it was. Like, I expected it to be super, and it was all those things, but it actually held up as a movie better than I expected to be. Now the modern classics are Christmas Story.
Come on, man. Yeah.
And like now you're getting a lot of noise for Love Actually.
Okay.
That's becoming a new modern classic.
I saw that for the first time last year. That's a pretty fun movie.
It is. It's
surprisingly
funny, but it's weird. Is like after you watch it multiple times, you start seeing the cracks of like some of the stuff is horrible.
What do you mean?
Like Andrew Lincoln is indefensible. You're a shitheel, man.
Yeah.
That's 15-yard penalty, flagrant violation of the bro code.
Absolutely, definitely.
That's some desperate shit, Andrew.
But the part that I really like about it is I love Bill Nye's character.
Yeah,
he's like his aged rocker making a comeback is spectacular. There's some other stuff I like in that movie, but
it's like I said, but after the fifth or sixth time, you start noticing like, ooh, I don't know, sure what kind of message this fucking movie's trying to tell me.
Yeah.
I also love Liam Neeson and his son.
Yeah,
that's really good, especially since that's not the conceit of that is that's actually. He's the stepdad whose the actual biological mother's dead, and he's still got this relationship with the son, which I think is pretty awesome.
No.
What else? Oh, do you want to talk about Rocket League?
Yeah. So we've been playing a lot of Rocket League, and as everybody knows, I'm not really into sports much. So it's kind of got me thinking about like plays and the dynamic field and how you respond to certain stuff, and like the difference between like a football type scenario where you have X amount of seconds to set up your play and you kind of just react. You don't have to react necessarily as dynamically. It's more kind of formation based, whereas like in soccer or basketball or something.
The beautiful game.
Is that what football is called?
That's the European football.
Why is that football?
Yeah.
Football.
No one calls American football the beautiful game.
Okay. I was wondering.
It's all about getting jacked up and blood and mud and guts and stuff.
Yeah, it's just an interesting way of thinking about things, because we got on the whiteboard and started.
We did last week.
We created one play.
That's essentially
which is the only one we run.
But there was a lot of consternation and like people making accusations about PNB out of position, and like we're like, you know what? Let's just break out the whiteboard. I haven't done that. The last time I got a whiteboard involved in a video gaming context was like 15 years ago when we were having a big LAN party at Ass Cheek's house. And
we were trying
to do a 64-man Omaha Beach invasion on the original Battlefield against the highest level AI bots, and there was like 8 of us. So we would get in a situation where, like, even if we did everything, we killed all the bots, we'd get to this alley where we're about to cap the objective, and you just see like a literal wave of Nazis crashing through that thing, and then you'd get fucked. So everyone had their positions and everyone had this thing, and you're in this tank and you got this loadout. And after like 4 hours, we finally fucking beat it, and it was epic.
Nice.
But yeah, Rocket League inspires that kind of devotion too.
Yeah.
And if this is your gateway into enjoyments of sports, I'd be so happy. Because
you've been waiting for 25 years to talk about sports with me, haven't you?
No, seriously. Like if if you would just come over and watch football and drink beer, you would be twice as useful to me as you are now.
I love that you look at it in terms of that.
Sure, your utility.
How useful.
Yeah. I mean, you're paying half my bills, and you're already. But I just really want a football buddy, because I've never had that. I actually had a bunch when I was a witness.
Really? Okay, I was gonna say, yeah.
But that all went away, and now like my dad's never been into sports. Most of my friends are like geeks, and they don't see that spectrum. And I try to be like, football's like XCOM. It's a real time turn-based strategy game.
It's a good comparison
with RPG-like stats, and like that's how I got to really enjoy it and started to appreciating it at a strategic tactical level. But yeah, no, if this is your gateway drug into enjoyment of sports, even awesome.
See, I just don't know that I would enjoy watching them.
Do you enjoy watching Rocket League? People play Rocket League?
No. I haven't watched them play.
See, I've been watching a bunch. That's kind of how I developed the play. As I was watching a couple of the Rocket League academies, and they're talking about this, how they rotate, and I'm like, well, just like formulate, or formalize a rule set.
I think that's funny having a Rocket League academy, because it is literally just soccer strategy, right? Like all this is soccer with cars. So like, do you really need to reinvent the wheel with the Rocket League Academy? Or can you just say, hey, here's what works in soccer, let's do that with Rocket League?
I don't know that it's exactly that one-to-one, because the aerial game is different, and the fact that you can cover the field so much.
Yeah, I suppose real high-level
play.
The
speed. Like the fact that, like, I mean, I don't know. I don't watch a lot of soccer. I watch like the World Cup, but it seems like, when you clear the field from one side, you're limited to the large size of the field and how fast a human can run, that you can't just have like a true breakaway, or very rarely do you have a breakaway situation where you just catch someone out of position and then you just can afterburner it down. People don't have afterburners. You can't get from one side of the soccer pitch to another in 2 seconds. That Usain Bolt can't make that sprint.
Yeah, but it's all relative,
Yeah.
Like, sure, you're not going to do it in the same amount of time, but you can do it in the same relative amount of time. I don't know.
Real quick, someone asked, Louis B said, would you guys be interested in a Bald Move members fantasy football league? I could set up if you'd like.
Nope, I have zero interest in that.
Yeah, I like fantasy football. But the thing is, I played in several work leagues, and like I actually won the personal arrogance league the first year, and then last year I just disgraced myself because I didn't.
Eric's consternation.
Yeah, I didn't have any. I didn't have time to research the draft. Well, that's the thing. Like the draft is 90% of why you like playing fantasy football.
Was Eric's team all Seattle Seahawks?
No
players.
That's a rookie mistake.
No.
Yeah,
okay.
You can't get too personal.
All right, invested. He's too good. Well, that's what I was going to say. He's such a fan of the Seahawks. I was wondering if he made that mistake. I'm
thinking to see if Eric wants to run a league, though. I probably won't participate just because I don't feel like if I can't do it well. And when you're when you're really good at fantasy football, you are spending 20-30 hours preparing for the draft, and then at least an hour a week, if not more, thinking about it. Like, so you got to get your rotation together. You have to.
What do you have to do week to week?
Well,
it's not just all about the draft.
It's all about looking at your matchups. Like sometimes you've got your studs, that's your best players, but after your top 2 or 3 players, especially in like the personal arrogance league was like 16 teams deep, so no one had like a whole team of just superstars. You have to look at their matchups. Like this running back is playing against this team's got a shitty defense.
Do you have a bench?
You do have a bench. And that's what I'm saying. You have to promote the players.
I thought you just picked 11 players. And
there's also the waiver wire. So like, you got this pool of people that have not been drafted, and like superstar gets injured. So the second running backup, can what's your rank? What's your waiver position? Can you draft that guy? Can you make trades? You got to manage your bye week. So if like you don't pay attention to your draft and you got like 8 of your guys that are not playing in the same week, then you're fucked. That kind of stuff, like, to be competitive, you have to put more time than I'm willing to at this stage of my life.
Gotcha.
And it's also like I'm kind of getting disconnected from football because I can't watch the Colts reliably. I have to go.
Really? Even in Cincinnati?
I have to go to a sports bar and watch it with screaming. It's like it's on one small TV screen, and every other screen has got the Bengals or Pittsburgh or whatever game going, and I can't hear it, and it kind of sucks. And I might. The first year, I didn't know that you didn't need a direct TV subscription to get the NFL Sunday Ticket. Last year, I knew that but couldn't afford it.
You can't get it on cable?
No.
Not like with ESPN or anything?
No, it's a direct TV exclusive.
Wow.
But you don't need direct TV to get the internet side of it.
Oh.
They'll allow you to purchase it like as a $300 standalone package. This year, it's like it's debatable whether I can afford that or not, but
$300 for 12 weeks of
16.
It's 16 weeks? Oh, 16 with playoffs.
Yeah. No, it's 16 weeks.
That was 12 games.
Nope, 16 games, and then you have
shows how much I know about football.
You have the wild card, divisional, and championship round, and then the Super Bowl. So that's 19 games all total.
Huh.
Or is it 19 games? I guess it's 20 games if you don't have a first round bye and you play through. Yeah, so it's up to 20. But no, it's weird. So I only saw like 70% of the Colts games last year. Like all the ones that are on national television and most of the games that I could actually get to. But it's like sucks. I got to go and pay $20, $30 to sit and eat chicken wings and drink beer in a not fan friendly environment.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. Is kind of I'm not as into football as I was 2 years ago.
Yeah, the Colts also aren't as good.
No, they're super good. They almost got to the Super Bowl last year. Yeah, they got pretty deep into the playoffs, and they've got a really exciting, dynamic quarterback. There's no reason other than I live in a shitty region for it, and I'm too broke to pay for the Sunday ticket.
Yeah, that's a problem.
But yeah, so
speaking of being too broke, let's talk about Adam Savage stuff.
Yeah, you are. I've been a fan of Adam Savage for a long time, and his work on MythBusters, and his work on Tested and all that stuff. I feel like
I've known Tested from the other side, which is Will and Norm.
Okay,
because they were part of Whiskey Media, which was part of the company that kind of the umbrella corp for Giant Bomb and Tested and Comic Vine and a couple of other things. So I was familiar with them more than like, in particular, the stuff that Adam Savage had done. But lately I've been looking for some hobbies and stuff that I can participate in. And one of them from my childhood that I never really took up was scale modeling, which I have a sort of love-hate relationship with because I'm not really much of an artist or painter or anything like that. But I feel like that it's interesting to me.
Yeah.
It's just something I've never practiced. And so I was like, I bought a scale modeling kit and some tools and stuff. I haven't bought my paints yet, but that's next on the docket. But I started watching like these Tested videos with Adam Savage and his specifically like his one-day build stuff, where he had Tyrrell from Battlestar Galactica on, and they painted models and built models, Battlestar Galactica themed models.
What were they?
One of them was Adam Savage was painting a Tyrrell figure. So
who is Tyrrell?
Tyrrell's the engineer.
Oh, okay.
He's
that's the guy I always play. I tend to play when we're playing the board game.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. He's kind of chubby,
working on the ships.
Kind of chubby, olive skinned. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget his name. Something Douglas. But yeah, he had him on, and he was painting a figure of Tyrell, and then Douglas was doing like ships, putting together ships, and put together a Cylon, which was kind of cool.
The Base Star or the Raider?
No, not a Cylon ship.
The actual.
Yeah.
Was it the old school Cylon or the new school?
It's a new school, and it's the big one. So not like obviously the humans, but it's like the robot looking ones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it was cool just to see all the techniques that Adam used. He's really like, I mean, obviously he worked at ILM as a model builder and painter and all this stuff. So he's got tons of skills, but he also has like a shitload of tools in his shop.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, man, to get from where I am now, which is basically nowhere, to where Adam Savage is, yeah, it's going to take the 20 plus years of effort that he's put into it, 30 years, whatever. But also, like, how do you just accumulate all these tools without like this massive workshop to store them in, without the funds to buy all of this big table equipment that, like, you know, he's got a fucking saw, a table saw, he's got a fucking lathe, he's got this he's doing like metalworking on, I don't even know what the thing is called, like a die cast something, I don't know. The thing where you machine away parts of metal.
That's a lathe, isn't it? Where it spins real fast.
Yeah, I guess it's just different from like a wood lathe, right?
Well, you can cut metal instead of wood.
Yeah, but he's got two of those, right? He's got one for wood, one for metal. Like, Jesus, just accumulating the amount of shit that he's got, let alone the skills.
Yeah,
it's just such a daunting thing.
Accumulating tools is an antithesis to your nomadic lifestyle.
I don't know how
that's kind of
your
your pattern is like you settle down, you nest up for a couple of years, and then you sell everything till you're down to like a backpack's worth of stuff, and then
a carload,
and then you follow the herd of mammoths to wherever it's going, and then you set down and stay. So it's like, because I remember when I was like 22 years old and the head gasket of my motorcycle blew up, and I went to the shop and I traded a shitty computer to some guy for this 1982 Suzuki motorcycle. And I took it to the shop and they're like, it's going to be $575 to repair. And I was broke as a joke back then. And I'm like, I will dig a hole in my backyard and bury it before I pay that much. So then I started just researching, like, you know, what would it take in parts? Like, okay, it's going to be $80 some in parts. What do I need for tools? I need to buy this manual. And there's this one guy that went to the same church as we did, and I knew he was a gearhead. So there's some things like a torque wrench and like a gear puller and some other things that I didn't have. And I asked him, and he's like, yeah, he just started pulling shit out of his garage and put it in my car. And I'm like, Alan, how the hell did you get all this stuff? He's like, you keep doing what you're doing, and in 15, 20 years, you'll be in my boat, where you just got a garage full of shit that you've used a couple times. Yeah. And that's exactly how I've become with, like, I've got enough.
You have a lot of tools now.
I mean, there's a couple things I can't, like, I don't have an engine hoist, and I don't have the tools necessarily like drop a transmission, but
and those really big bulky,
like, I've got the really nice thing that allows you to depress the calipers in a brake pad. It's universal, and I've got, you know, a bunch of different gear pullers and
power tools.
Yeah, and the pneumatic impact wrenches and stuff like that makes a lot of the jobs easier. But that's the thing, like, you just start off doing a job, and what is the bare minimum you can do, and then what is the job, you know, what would make this job easier next time, and how expensive is that thing, and do you buy it or not?
Yeah, for the scale model stuff, I'm looking at, you know, all these. I was on a DS9 kick, so I was looking at like Deep Space Nine, the station itself, which is like fucking massive, and where am I going to put it? A, and B,
hang it up in the corner.
It's such a big job. Why would I start with that? So I ended up buying these little Viper replicas of from Battlestar Galactica, like a couple of them in a kit, just like 4.5-inch small little things to test out my skills on, to start building skills. You know what else?
So you know where a great way to get tools: Christmas and birthdays.
All right.
And also like Craigslist and pawn shops.
Yeah.
Pawn shops are great places to get tools, I found.
I can imagine.
Because, you know, I don't know why, but like, it's a great place to get music instruments, guns, you know, engagement jewelry, and tools, because it's cheap. And, you know, plus, like, tools, like a good tool, it's good, like, you know, like Craftsman famously on all their like socket sets and wrenches are guaranteed for life.
That's
which I have blown the fuck. I have blown so many Craftsman sockets doing shit that I shouldn't be doing, like these like 6-foot breaker bars, and like it's like I take in bits of sockets, and they're like, here you go, give me a new one. That stuff just generally lasts forever.
That's the thing. Like once you buy it, you're done buying that thing.
Yeah.
Whereas like, I feel like so many other hobbies are kind of disposable.
Right.
Like a lot of the tools are disposable.
Well, that's the thing. Like you got to make a decision. Like, do I want to get the Harbor Freight $15 piece of shit that might fall apart on me 2 jobs into it, or do I want to spend $200 and get like a really nice, solid, heavy that's going to last me a lifetime?
I feel like the tools that you'll be using a lot. Yeah.
I have my grandfather's Sears Craftsman's wrench set.
Sure.
Socket set.
How would those ever break?
It's superior to the shittier one that I got like in the late 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like just feels nicer. It's got nicer gearing. The sockets are nicer. Like it's nice. It's just it's that kind of stuff just lasts forever. So you just tend to accumulate it. But that's the problem. Like now I have to I'm in this apartment. I have to rent a storage facility just to store my tools and motorcycles and shit.
Yeah, and with the scale modeling stuff, there's like a lot of toxic glues and paints, and that you can't really breathe.
And it goes bad.
And like, when I'm in this fucking apartment, where's that going to vent to? Like,
just enjoy the high, man.
No, and enjoy the cancer 20 years later. I
will say, when I got into RC, aircraft, and I was doing soldering like on a daily basis, I actually built a little rig that would blow because like you're soldering and like you just know that shit is just like the acrid fumes is going right into your face.
You can see it going into your nose.
Yeah. Like, and it's like big warnings like this is illegal in the state of California because it's got lead and mercury and cyanide and
I've done a little bit
that VX gas from The Rock is also in here. So I built a little like a 120 millimeter case fan and hooked it up to an old battery from a UPC battery backup.
I've seen some of those. They're like spray boxes or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
They have a few fans in it. You put the hose out the window and boom, you're good.
Yep.
But I don't have a fucking air gun. I'm not going to be spraying paint around. I'm going to be fucking doing this shitty brush detail work.
You can still do
like, I don't know how you cover. I'm probably going to get like a spray primer that's just in a can, because
you just go out on your back porch.
The easiest way. Yeah.
Ceci paints tons of shit on the back porch. She just lays out a bunch of plastic, and it does. I was skeptical when she started doing it. I was like, man, we're gonna lose our deposit. You're gonna like this is gonna be the color of the rainbow, but it seems like it does all right. Yeah,
we'll see how that goes. I'm also worried about the wind there, like taking the paint to places I don't expect it to go, and accidentally painting up my siding or something.
Well, I guess you'd have to like not paint in a hurricane, but
yeah, I'm skeptical of outdoor painting, frankly, in any way that's so detailed.
Early in the morning and late, and it's like dawn and dusk are the best times to do anything that doesn't involve wind. It's another tip I picked up from RC airplanes. That's for whatever reason. Those are the times where, I know why it is. Like nighttime, the earth. What causes wind is differences in regions. At the dawn, the earth is cooled to the point, and the sun hasn't started fucking with shit. So it's calm, and in the evening, the sun is heated up the earth as much as it's going to be, and it hasn't had time to start cooling and generating wind. So yeah,
makes sense.
You're not as much of a morning guy, but yeah, you could definitely rock the dusk. The dusk angle.
Yeah, 10 p.m. Bring it.
Oh, here's this. Parrish wants to know: do you have the patience to learn ZBrush? It's digital sculpting and pretty fun. Now, are you saying like?
So I would love to do like make my own parts and print them out in 3D printers. I think that'd be really cool to do scratch builds.
Did you know the Cincinnati Public Library System supposedly has a really cool maker lab that you can use for free?
Not until you told me about it, and like right before this.
See, you fucked up the conceit.
Know,
we're supposed to seem natural.
I can't do it. I can't fool the audience like that.
Yeah, you just have to pay for materials.
That's amazing.
I
totally want to try it.
And there's another place, I think it's called the Maker Factory.
The trouble with 3D printing and scale modeling is that you don't get a smooth surface, right? Like you have all these striations in the model from the 3D printing process that you then have to sand out, and it takes hours and hours and hours to get a smooth, paintable model that's going to look decent.
Yeah, sure. I'm
hoping as the tech gets better, that won't be as much of a problem, but right now, 3D printing is not to the point where you can scale model with it.
I know there's this place that's, I feel it's maybe Makerspace is the public library one. Maybe it's a manufacturing. There's a place on the north side of town where if like for $50 a month, you join up And then they've got
$50 a month.
Yeah, well, they got several 3D printers, a full welding shop, a full mechanic shop, a full wood shop, a full paint booth with fumes and everything.
Solves my storage problem.
Yeah. And then again, you have to pay materials, and they also do classes for free if you remember. So they'll tell you how to turn like a SketchUp thing into a 3D model that you can print, or they'll teach you how to do TIG welding or
that might be
whatever.
Cool.
That's the next step.
I don't know if I can afford it, but
because I'm really good at like woodworking and doing basic stuff like that. But what to take my maker tools to the next level would be to get into welding. And then the other thing I'd like to do is learn how to do fiberglass. Because I actually have always been a little arty. I like painting. I like sculpting. I like doing all that stuff. Drawing. Yeah. Yep. And it's just finding the time and stuff like that. Like I want to build a house one of these days.
Build a house?
Yeah, like one of those mini. I've been watching.
I just want to take a house that's built and customized and not build one.
Well, but I've been watching a lot of this tiny homes stuff, like on the DIY channel and the home and garden, and I have every skill set other than maybe building things to code, which I need to have an architect to look at. But I could totally do that and build things like that. That's not a fixed dwelling, and that's one of my like Beaver Island goals. Like build step one, buy a property. Step two, like dig make it to where you can camp there, and then step three is build some kind of permanent shelter.
How much are the Mormons charging for a plot on Beaver Island?
Well, it's not the Mormons anymore. There's a gang of street toughs, largely comprised of Irish immigrants that ran them off in the early 20th century.
Okay.
So now it's all a bunch of Donegals.
Is it expensive up there? I imagine it's pretty exclusive. It's just like.
You can spend a lot of money, but like you can also get plots of land for like $1,000 an acre.
Oh shit!
Depends on how far away from town you want to be and how far away from the water. How
far away from town can you really be on that island? 10 miles?
18. I think the island's 18 miles long by 10 miles wide at its widest.
Can't be that far away.
It's like 40-minute drive because it's all gravel roads. And
that's
shit.
True, yeah.
And then in the winter, it's like all a snowmobile.
Jesus.
So,
that sounds kind of cool though.
Yeah, it's like I want to build like a summer cabin up there eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, if you get into this, I would go on this journey with you, especially if you sign up for this library deal, because I'm the same way. There's like a lot of 3D shit that I'd like to print.
Yeah, I just don't know what I would do with 3D printing at this point. Like I said, scale modeling is not an option.
Well, if you do this thing where you're like making a digital model that you can then just print and make it, like Mike from Penny Arcade he got a MakerBot or whatever for last Christmas, and he's done all kinds of cool shit. He's 3D printed a couple weapons from Destiny, like a hunter's knife. He made a ghost. He's made a bunch of shit for his boys. He's printed off like kitchen gadgets for his wife. Like, sure, it's one of those things where once you get it, everything's you got the most awesome hammer in the world and everything looks like a nail, and it's just like don't buy a chip clip, honey, I'll 3D print it. Sure. You spend $50 to make a goddamn chip clip for your bag of chips.
Yeah,
the first 6 didn't turn out right, and you didn't get the right material for it, and but no, it's super cool. Some of those Destiny guns are ridiculous because they're like built to be a shell for an airsoft gun, so you can actually shoot. And then to the extent that some of these airsoft guns are 1-to-1 replicas of real guns, you could actually build a thorn that could kill people. Should you choose?
It's not illegal, I'm sure.
No, bring that to Gen Con. First time someone goes aggro with a real weapon at Gen Con, they've already got that like that peace bonding shit they do, where they like put. Have you seen that? Where I guess they have people that like see that this fake weapon is not a weapon, and then they put like a pink ribbon around the barrel to let people know that this is okay. It's not a real weapon.
Isn't that what the orange tip is for?
Well, but I'm saying that these guys making their own, and you don't have like if you're taking the effort to make a replica of Master Chief armor with his battle rifle, you're not going to paint an orange tip on it. So they do that with like the guns and the swords and stuff. They somehow mark it as not a weapon, but it seems it's just some fat nerd eating Doritos doing this. It's not like they're X-raying it or shit.
That's my real concern. So we went kayaking the other week, last weekend. I don't even remember. And I'm like, man, this would be a cool hobby to get into. This is fun. It's exercise. Man, fucking scale modeling. Like if I'm worried about sitting on my ass watching TV all day, sitting on my ass podcasting all day, scale modeling is not the hobby for me.
Well, if you're going to do that anyway, at least you're getting something extra.
That's what I mean. Like I'd like to take up a hobby that actually gives me some sort of exercise.
Right. If you're going to background watch Deep Space Nine and that's the rest of your life, then you can either do it playing Bejeweled or browsing Reddit, or you could be building Cylon ships.
True. It's true. I just have to commit, right? Like
you do. It's a lifestyle.
Am I okay with just being an out of shape bozo for the rest of my life? Or do I actually want to get something out of my life?
Oh man. I've
no disrespect to the out of shape bozos. I admire your models, but
I've kind of played myself into shape this summer. I've lost 15
played
pounds.
yourself into shape?
Yeah,
How'd you do that?
Just by hiking, camping, kayaking,
nice,
biking. I've not changed the way I eat or do anything other than I'm just more active in the summer, and I'm still, you can tell, I'm still, but I'm less.
Yeah,
so.
I'm reverting to gamer bod.
Maybe we can meet in the middle. I get a little bit skinnier, you get a little bit fatter.
I was sitting there on the river going, man, I could really get into the challenge of this, because even on the, not even quite class 1 stuff that we were doing, it's a lot of fun, but it's also challenging. It's something to test your mettle a little bit.
If you don't want to flip your boat, then you got to have some kind of maneuvering skill.
Yeah, and you ease into it. You don't jump on a class 3 rapid and say, "Here I go." You gotta work your way up. As there is some skills.
I think it's called the Gully. We need to go there.
The Gully. Oh God,
we've got just enough
class
time.
6 unexplored terrain here.
No,
you're gonna send me down the river, literally.
It's
Yeah, I'd love to go
find it, but it's
again.
Supposedly it's got class 3 rapids, and
that's way too hard for us, man.
You think so?
Absolutely.
But they're guided.
Absolutely.
They're guided. So you got an experienced kayaker that goes with your group, and he tells you like what the path you take. You don't think you could do a class 3?
I would want to try a class 2 at least.
I mean, but it's like the class 3 is where it's still not lethal. It's like playing the holodeck with the safety. Like class 4 and 5 will kill you. You will drown if you don't take them right, even the life vests. Class 3 is like the worst you're going to do is tip over and get wet and maybe banged up on some rocks, but you're not going to die.
But we did that on class 1. Like I didn't,
and I didn't die. What do you want? Pain-free existence?
I mean, maybe master the class you're on and don't fall over before you go to the next class, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Although that's the first time I've ever flipped over in a kayak.
And you said the river was especially fast.
It was fast. And I was actually, because they've been closed for like 3 weekends running. And I'm like, what the high water? What the fuck? I've been on this river.
Yeah, who cares, right?
But no, it was a couple of those places surprised me. And I got,
see, I would think high water would be better for not hitting obstacles, but I don't think it is.
It's because it's moving faster. And then the obstacle, like, if you stay in the middle of the river where it's just, but I was always trying to attack the places that looked interesting, that was burbling and churning and had standing waves.
I was trying to avoid those, but I found that like in avoiding the waves, I would actually come closer to the obstacles that were creating the waves.
Yeah, I don't know how to read water at all.
Yeah,
I thought I did, but the last few weeks have taught me that I do not. Like, because I deliberately try to steer a rock and then boom, I hit a giant rock.
That was my first time doing like an actual kayak trip. I had been in a kayak once, but it was on a river where I canoed down most of it, and we had one kayak. And it was just like, I sat in the kayak for a minute and said, you know what? I don't like this. And then I got out and got back in the canoe and did the river that way. But yeah, I don't know. Kayaking would be a lot of fun. It's kind of expensive though. Like doing $25 a weekend is more expensive than scale modeling.
Well, I mean, the other argument to that would be
buy your own kayak.
Go on Craigslist. Find
what am I
going
to do? Where the fuck am I going to put a kayak?
Right next to your woodworking tools, man. You can't fit in your goddamn backpack, but yeah, or maybe you just live on the kayak.
I do have the car for it now, right? Like I've got a roof rack.
Just put that shit on the roof. Yeah. But yeah, you can get a kayak for like 200-ish.
Kayak in my living room, like. But I don't have a place. I don't have a garage.
Your bicycle is in the living. Just put it. All your various transportation. You just put a.
I feel like a bicycle is more compact than a kayak, though. My God,
I'm not going to argue with that.
Like an 8-foot kayak.
I know you are a bachelor living by yourself. This is your one opportunity to. No one's going to give you shit.
In my living room.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
All right, why not?
Yeah, like I've known
like
dudes that have like their motorcycles in their living room.
Oh God.
Which is always like the ultimate, like, you know, like.
Also, I live on the second story, so getting
a motorcycle up that would be exciting.
That would be impossible.
But no, I think having a motorcycle in your living room is the ultimate. Like, fuck you, women. I never want anywhere near you.
I don't give a shit what anybody thinks about
Yeah, you
me.
come over to motorcycles right there, dripping oil in the living room. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Deal with it.
Sunglasses coming down. Deal with it.
What kind of questions do we have?
You could 3D print a kayak out of like 180 separate pieces held together with Bondo and toothpicks.
With a little bit of plastic glue.
Nick W says you could make Jim and A.Ron action figures. That would be boss. That would be, and I would have that swivel arm kung fu grip, like the classic GI Joes,
with 2 glasses of whiskey in it.
And I'd have the winter A.Ron with the big long beard, and I'm fat, and then I'd have the summer A.Ron where I'm not quite as fat. Removable beard. Yeah. Holy shit.
Clip-on beard.
Whew. That's looking, and you can have adjustable lengths, like, you know, just like, so it's got like Lego style. You can just make it bigger. You know,
there you go.
Have a beard add-on kit. What would your accessories be?
A kayak, a big ass kayak.
Big ass kayak.
And,
you have the gym apartment. It's just loaded with woodworking tools, bicycles, and kayaks.
All of which have heavy layers of dust, like they haven't been used in years. The dust paint is
your Roomba.
permanent.
You got a room. You have the you know, scale functional Roomba. It's the size of a quarter. Just moves around.
Yeah, I'd have a video game collection that you randomly have to sell.
Yeah,
and reinvest in.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's
I'd really, it would just come with a big ass TV and a recliner.
Yeah.
Reclining couch.
Yeah. And that's you could buy the set. You'd have the Jim and A.Ron sitting on the couch.
It'd be cool to have like a Jim and A.Ron studio, like a Bald Move studio diorama.
We could do different phases of it, like the shitty Indianapolis apartment, Ooh. Bald Move studio with the uncomfortable A.Ron sleeping on a concrete floor. You could have the Bald Tower, where it's the second floor spare bedroom in my old house in Greenfield, and
that was the Bald Cave, wasn't it?
I thought you were the cave, I was the tower.
So okay, so there were 2 phases of my studio, right? Like I had the tower, which was where me and Peter recorded.
That was up on...
that was in an actual tower, like a multi-level apartment building.
That was the original Bald Tower. Terrible acoustics.
Oh, yeah. Hardwood floors. Bad
you had not a single thing hanging on your walls. It was an echo chamber.
Yeah, I think we recorded... like the Inception cast was in there?
Yep.
No, the Inception cast was at your place.
I'm pretty sure... Oh yeah. It
was Tron. Tron Legacy was in there.
We recorded there.
The Metamorphosis of Prime Intellect stuff was recorded there. A lot of early Bald Move stuff was recorded there.
So we tried to like hang blankets on the ceiling to make it a little bit better, but it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But then it was like the other main phase was at my house in Greenfield. And that was, I think, maybe that's the Bald Cave when we were recording down in the rec room, but eventually moved it upstairs and it became the Bald. Not as impressive.
That's right. Tower. There was like a loft area. We recorded in a couple places.
I forgot about recording in the loft. Holy shit.
Recorded in the loft. Figured it was too noisy. Moved it into your bedroom because we were using, condenser mics
that picked up the refrigerator
downstairs around the
refrigerator.
Corner. Yeah. So we moved it into the spare bedroom.
That was probably the pinnacle of Bald Move sound when we had the condenser mics in the spare bedroom that we
turned off the AC.
We turned off the AC and sweat balls, and we hung blankets on mattresses. We propped up old mattresses against the wall. It was like low tech and ghetto, but it probably, I don't know, maybe I should go back and listen to some of those to see if it sounded, my voice sounded richer.
It sounded good until we took the microphones out onto the patio, which
that was the worst.
The deck that was a mistake.
That was the cicada cast.
Cigars and whiskey and cicadas.
That was not the Mad Men Boston Legal podcast. So yeah, I'd totally get down with that. You could have like the play sets, like the Bald Tower B, Bald Cave.
Then you get, real decorated studios here.
Yeah.
We're doing stuff on camera.
Yeah. That would be the 5th season Bald Move.
This still feels like a fly-by-night joint here.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty if you look at it from that angle.
Yeah, you guys can't see what's behind the cameras, but my God, I mean, you look that direction.
Oh, can't they?
They can if you pop up a third camera. I can show it to them.
I'm gonna.
All right. You got the makeshift.
Here you go.
Yeah, get it over the monitors. Too,
you got
so
you got two befores with lighting
with paper on them. Paper.
Yeah.
We haven't sprung for the gel screens.
We have a window that we blocked off with foam to isolate light and sound.
Turns out it doesn't isolate sound.
It does it does pretty good job at screaming like high pitch frequencies. Like the reason we did is because we're right outside of pool. Like literally 10 feet in this direction is a pool, and there's screaming kids 24/7.
Yeah.
And it does a really good job at filtering out the screaming kids.
Especially right now during the summer.
Low frequency, the Lawnmower Man, for example, doesn't do shit. But yeah, this is the unfinished. This is our studio checklist that we observe mostly.
Yeah, I have about the worst placed apartment for a studio in this entire complex.
Yeah. So yeah, this is where we didn't even bother to paint that wall. It's just unfinished.
Yeah, why? Nobody's ever gonna see it until we show
now they did. Now they did. We also like I don't know, that I wouldn't mind maybe during Christmas. I wouldn't because our first thought was we wanted to do just like 2 chairs facing the audience, kind of like a talk show type of format. I wouldn't mind playing around with that a little bit.
Where would we put it though? This table. We built this fucking table and it's huge.
Get rid of table. Table gone.
Table gone.
But where would we work?
Good question.
Because that's the other thing. I'm
in
glad
that closet at the desk. There's also a closet we have that's full of
computer gear,
our supplies and a desk and yeah.
Oh,
so what
here's the best part. Here's the best part, Freddie. So all of the apartment complex, he says your neighbors probably think you're making or growing drugs in that room with the foam on the window. Here's the best part. All of the apartment complexes have these generic white blinds, and from the outside, I cannot tell from like average looking, right outside the window looking up at it. I cannot tell that that's actually foamed over.
Yeah, as you drive in, you can see my apartment.
Yeah,
and I look occasionally, and I can't tell.
No. So because we did a pretty nice job. It looks very unobtrusive. We thought about throwing a Bald Move logo up in the windows.
I mean, we left the blinds up, didn't we?
No, we took the blinds out.
We took the blinds out?
It's flush. It's flush, and it's like multiple layers of foam with like sound dampening materials between that we did all taped over nice.
Tape that's barely clinging onto that paint job on the walls.
That gaffer tape's got it on pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I mean, really, we just prepared the parts that you can see, polish those.
Yeah. And
then at some point, I guess we're going to do tours of what we've got on our shelves here, which is another reason scale modeling might be cool, is because I can have some stuff to put on my shelves.
Like, look at our lighting solution here. The finest of PVC pipe and shop lighting.
Yeah, shop light clamped onto PVC bullshit.
That's the whole world experience.
But that's what you do when you can only spend $500 on a studio.
This is incredibly $500 IKEA studio.
Yeah, you should show them which cameras we're using too. These shitty webcams.
No, I did. They saw it. It's I don't think they're shitty. They're
I mean, they're $70 webcams. They're shitty cameras.
They're $100 webcams, number one.
$90.
And to take it to the next level would be.
That's the thing. It's thousands of dollars to go. Thousands of dollars to build the studio we wanted to build. $500 to build the studio we built.
But we've got. I mean, I feel like we got a good handle on the next phase. Like we've got that technology, and once we get to a certain amount of a money figure or
come up soon,
that we can take it to the next level.
Yeah, we got things in the works.
But what I was getting at is I feel like most of the cool stuff in the studio people don't see, like our awesome liquor cabinet and stuff.
Yeah, we never show the liquor cabinet anymore. No. It's cut out of the center of our 2 shots.
It is. It's gutted.
Because we thought, we're gonna have 3 cameras. We're gonna switch camera angles during the shows, and we just never do that because it's hard to hold the conversation and be conscious of switching cameras and all that stuff.
Yeah. But
we need a producer.
The next, or the next level is where we record 3 feeds simultaneously, and we can then just do, because it's really easy to do multicam support and editing. Yeah. It's just capturing all that stuff is what's really tricky.
Yep.
But like I said, we'll, it's another quantum leap that we will get to one of these days. What else?
How are we doing on questions there?
Freddie C says, good to know you're so stealth. Grow some drugs then. Hey, there's initiative on the Ohio ballot.
We might not need to be stealth here
that's something that's going to be we're voting on this November. Up to 6 mature marijuana plants per person.
And as of right now, neither of us smoke weed. So
we can start the bald move grow op. Me, you, and Cecily. That's 18 plants.
Yeah, the bald greenhouse.
We'll
just have plants behind us. Like, fuck it, we'll grow them in the studio.
Maybe the Cincinnati Public Library system will have like a collaborative greenhouse. So everybody can just come and
I like it.
It's literally a grow op. So yeah, we'll get that. She is geeky says, for your information, I've never been able to hear the Lawnmower Man whenever you said it's too noisy. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's loud
because it's so fucking loud inside the studio. And that's the thing is, like, even if it's not coming across the mics, well, which I still is incredible. Like, I would suspect that's because of the noise cancellation filter that you've got with the Adobe Audition. But they're talking about the Lunch with Jim and A.Ron's. That's just unfiltered.
Yeah, I mean, these dynamic mics do a lot to isolate.
Sure.
To not pick up the sound or only pick up the sound that's right in front of them.
Sure.
I mean, when we switched from condensers to these, we were able to start using air conditioning and all sorts of stuff. Like, that's why whenever like people, like newbies come in asking in these podcast groups about how do I get started? What mic should I get? I'm like, do not fucking get a condenser. No. Everybody tells you to get a condenser. Don't do it.
Unless you have an actual studio and you can control your environment. No.
I mean, that's the point. You're a newbie. Like, get the easiest thing to use, which is a dynamic microphone. Go into compressors when you know what you're doing.
Yeah, agreed. Condensers.
Or condensers.
We're big fans of compressors.
We also have
crank that compressor shit up. That's another magic thing.
But not too high. You start to sound like a robot.
And then Freddie C said, yeah, the Lawnmower Man is a myth at this point. I haven't heard him once, and I listened to the podcast with Beats. Well, that's your problem. The Beats by Dre is garbage.
Well, you would think it would get the low end, though, right? Like,
that's true.
You would think that
you're right.
Would just be.
You're right. You're right. But yeah, no, that's good to know. But the thing is like, even if you guys can't hear it, I can't talk past it. It destroys my concentration. I'm trying to make a point, and I just hear this, and then
especially when he
starts ramming the building. He's playing Rocket League out there. Jesus Christ,
coming up the side of it.
All right, thanks everyone for joining.
Yeah, this was a long, rambly one, but
I didn't anticipate it to be this long. We've got to go on to the next one. We will be back next.
Lunch. I'm hungry.
Yeah, we actually haven't eaten. We usually do, but we haven't eaten it. We're gonna go get food and then get back to work. We got some stuff we got to record today, and we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. I think.
Do a tip of the hat here.
Tip of the hat, wag of the finger.
I don't even know how you do that with a baseball cap.
All right, guys, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you later.